Hey guys, Mike from Wrestling Then and Now. Thanks so much for checking out the YouTube channel. Today's clip is brought to you by 80s Wrestling, the podcast. It can be found everywhere you find your favorite podcasts. Check them out. And also check out 80swrestlingcon.com.
I was saving this girl money, every week to live on and everything. I had a little place in Los Angeles, 1202 South Orange Grove, near Pico and Fairfax. That's where I was training at the gym. My workout partner at that time was Lou Ferrigno, Charles Glass, and a lot of guys that top bodybuilding guys, because that's where all the top bodybuilders went to train was L.A. So I figured I'd move there. But anyway, I was wrestling with SD Special Jim Joe. But this girl kept telling me about these shoes, and then I had to see these shoes. So Chief Strongbow, I locked my keys in the car, and at the Newark Airport, Mario Savoda pretended to save story. I locked my keys in the car. Well, I got pissed off about not getting back. Chief Strongbow said, Tony, I would take you to Philly. You have to go to Philly. It's very important you get to Philly. I would take you there. I would bring you back and get a locksmith. Well, sometimes when you're young, you get stupid. And not that I'm smart now. I'm still stupid, but I was more stupid when I was young. So I said, boy, now I got a great excuse to go to L.A. and get walked on, get stepped on by this girl. Back then, you could walk into the airport and buy a ticket. You didn't have to make reservations. If they got a seat, you get them cash. So the ticket to L.A. was only $350. So I hop on a plane, and I went to L.A., and I partied with this girl for about a week or two. Then finally, I ran out of money, so I didn't know what happened. So I called Vince Sr. and talked to him, and then Vince Sr. took and said, well, where the hell you been? He said, you just disappeared on it. Now, this is what has exposed to happen. Back up a little bit. The idea was, I learned this later, the idea was me and SD was going to win the title off of Mr. Fuji and Saito, and me and SD was going to be the first. SD talk about it. If you listen to SD, he's telling the story at my introduction. SD and me was supposed to be the first world champion. That's what they planned. Then, and we're going to beat Fuji and Saito for the belt. Then the Moondogs, who was in Japan at the time, they were going to fly in, come back, and they were going to beat me and SD for the tag team title. Then Vince was going to break us off, and he would put me against Bachler. Me and Bachler already started wrestling, doing little things, and Bachler never pinned me. I never pinned Bachler. And I think Vince wanted to call Captain Lou said, they're going all the way with you. You got the green light. They're going to go all the way. So Vince's plan, senior, was to make me the first black world champion. Rocky was not even there. Then I left. When I came back, they flew me into Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's when Rocky was sitting in the dressing room, when they flew me back from Los Angeles. After I came back, after I'd been gone for about, I think I was gone, if you look it up, I think I was gone for almost 10 months. And during that time, Rocky came in to take my place. So Vince came up to me, and this is what Vince Sr. said. Tony, do you want Rocky to stay? He said, if you want him to go, we would get rid of him. But do you want him to stay? I said, oh, no, keep him. And Vince Sr. said, well, I'm glad you feel that way because we were thinking about teaming you guys up. Remember SD said he got kicked to the curb? When he did a Hall of Fame speech, remember SD said, I got kicked to the curb?
Yes, correct.
That's what SD was talking about. And then all of a sudden they replaced Rocky with SD. Now, back in the older days, if you ever noticed, they wanted one of everything. It was not a racist. It had nothing to do with racism. It had something to do with Vince Sr. felt, old-time wrestling felt, that having more than one black wrestler on top that can't draw money, having more than one oriental. Think about how long Chief J. Strongbow stayed there. And the only reason Tatanka got in, because Chief retired. When they had Ivan Puska, he was the only Polish. When they had on top, when they had Bruno, he was the only Italian on top. Couldn't no other Italian be a top guy when Bruno was there. Couldn't no Indian be a top guy when Chief J. Strongbow was on there. In fact, Fuji got rid of Saito and Tor Tanaka. He buried that freaking Saito every day. Because the Fuji didn't want another Oriental. When they had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, they had nobody else during that period of time. It changed later, but at that time they only had room for one like Pedro Morales. That's why Johnny Ross was never put on top, because they had Pedro. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why Andre the Giant got so pissed off at Big John Studd, because Andre used to always say only one Giant, Andre, no other Giant. And he hated John Studd, but they started calling him the Giant, because that was Andre's gimmick. You know what I'm saying? So me and Rocky were the first two top wrestlers, and Rocky is older than me, so Rocky knew that eventually they were going to get rid of him. So he figured the best way to save his career, because this was Rocky's biggest break if you stop and think about it. I got big breaks in Mid-Atlantic. I was a Mid-Atlantic champion. That was a big territory. AWA, I got a big break. That's another big territory. And the Georgia Championship Wrestlers that went into the first cable wrestling company, I was all over cable television. So I already had a break. So as far as he did all the work and I got all the glory, I was over before Rocky got there. They already knew me. I didn't have to do nothing. I was already over. All I do, like what would you say? All I do is walk through that door, and I was over. I mean, how many guys you knew could drop kick you in the face, leapfrog John Studd, and press slam John Studd too? Rocky couldn't do them things. Rocky about 10 years older than me, and a lot of stuff I didn't know. The first night, after I told Vince that Rocky could stay, Vince said, Tony, we want to go back to L.A. and get your car. I was driving a 1981 Corvette there. And then Rocky stepped up and said, hey, says we're going to be partners. He's going to be riding me. He said he don't have to go home. And plus, I got an extra car that he could use if he want to. That is my first night back now. Now, Vince said, oh, that's great, because we was hoping to get him started right away. He said, that's great. We was hoping to get him started right away. So Rocky take me to a hotel in New Haven, Connecticut. The next day, we were supposed to be in Hamden, Connecticut. And then the next day, we were supposed to be in the first show, me come back, was going to be Hartford, Connecticut. Now, listen to this. Rocky said, Hartford's only like 30 miles away. Rocky said, I like being there early. I come and pick you up around 5 o'clock. That's all great, because back then the show starts at 8 back in them days. So they gave us time to drive, grab something to eat, keep going. Rocky never showed up. This is my first booking back. Rocky finished to fill your question. Me and Rocky was the best of friends towards the end. In fact, you could ask his wife Sheila. Me and Rocky talked every week. Every week. Great. I talked to Rocky 3 days before he passed. 3 days before he passed.
Wow.
And then you're going to see a thing on Hannibal where Rocky did this interview, but that was a big misunderstanding, because Rocky's wife, Sheila, and my wife, Monica, were very good friends. They talked every week. So Sheila my wife told Sheila a story about this show getting cancer that's going to affect me going to cause me to be late for my mortgage. So Sheila sent $300 to Monica. And I paid my mortgage. Now, I'm thinking that she said, oh, Rocky sent you some money to help you with your mortgage. That's all my wife told me. I knew nothing about it until I saw the interview that Rocky did on Hannibal. And he was mad at me because I didn't pay him the money back. It was a loan but I knew nothing about it. Nothing. That was between them two wives that they was talking, and Sheila decided to go and ask Rocky to save me some money. Rocky looked at it as a loan. I knew nothing about it. My wife looked at it as a gift. And I talked to Sheila about that not too long ago. Sheila said Rocky got it all mixed up. I didn't ask Rocky I did owe Rocky $300, but I didn't know it until I hear the interview, because Rocky would never pick up the phone and talk. Anybody that ever dealt with Rocky know that his wife Sheila did all the talking, just like with Jimmy Snuka. His wife used to do all the talking, you know. Anybody that ever worked with Snuka.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, we're the best of friends. I love Rocky to death. You know, the last thing I said to Rocky, I said, brother, get well. I love you. He said, I love you too, brother.